I don't know if anyone has ever wondered whether there are other creatures living inside the Earth. You should know that the distance from the surface to the Earth's core is over 6,370 kilometers on average. When we were kids, we loved digging holes. As we grew up, maybe we stopped playing, but scientists never stopped exploring. The most famous attempt was the Soviet Union's Kola borehole, which once drilled down to 126 meters underground. This distance is still far from the actual core, but later, the project was forced to stop. It's said that after reaching this depth, eerie wailing sounds were heard, and many researchers were scared out of their minds. They used advanced recorders to capture the sounds, and when they listened, it sounded like a group of people wailing hysterically. People once believed that they had drilled into the gates of hell. Then, many supernatural phenomena occurred, and the authorities had to call off the project. Today, we're going to talk about a story that happened near a drilling site in the Sakra Desert. Recently, a severe sandstorm occurred near the drilling site. After that, all the researchers lost contact. Headquarters sent Jack to check it out. After several hours of trekking, Jack arrived at the base. The corridors inside were empty. There was no radio signal. Jack started checking the rooms one by one. One room emitted strange noises, and there were many severe scratches on the iron door. Jack forcefully broke open the door and was almost hit by a cabinet inside. On the floor was the corpse of an animal, arranged in a bizarre position within a circle. The walls were covered with writing in blood. Jack couldn't understand what it meant. Where did all the researchers go? It was about to get dark, and the sandstorm showed no signs of stopping. Jack had no choice but to spend the night there. The next day, after dawn, the sandstorm finally stopped. Jack used binoculars to observe the surroundings and saw a long-legged beauty running. Jack was puzzled about where this beauty came from. Why didn't he see her last night? Jack approached to greet her. The beauty's name was Jenny, and she was a researcher here. She asked Jack to take her away as soon as possible. Jack was there to investigate, so he needed to understand the situation first. Jenny said that the others had died mysteriously. Then, she took Jack to the cold storage. Inside was the body of the project leader, who had been killed by other researchers. Jack reported the situation to headquarters. They instructed him to stay put and collect evidence, and they would send someone to investigate as soon as possible. While Jack was collecting evidence in the Czech Republic, Jenny came over with her packed luggage, once again asking Jack to take her away as soon as possible. Jack said, "The journey back is long, so let's eat something first." While eating, Jack asked about the drilling. 6 days ago, they drilled to 470 feet and seemed to hit a void. Jack threw something down there. Jenny hinted that it would take 5 minutes to reach the bottom and wouldn't make any sound. Normally, the sound of drilling through mud is like the roar of a demon. Jack glanced into the mirror for just a few seconds and immediately felt a bit dizzy. Jack was still suspicious of Jenny's identity. "Why aren't you in the footage of the opening celebration? Who do you think was filming it? And why aren't you in the photos either?" Jenny didn't answer but stared straight ahead. Suddenly, Jack was hit to the ground by a hook. Jenny hurriedly helped Jack to the room below. Jack simply treated his wound and then said he would go out to get some ice, telling Jack to lie down and rest for a while. Unexpectedly, as soon as Jenny went out, she locked the door. Jack was lying on the bed when suddenly a drop of blood fell on his face. Then, the sink started spraying, the cabinet was leaking, and the ceiling seemed to be raining. In a short while, the entire room was red. At this moment, Jenny came to the door. Then, everything in the room returned to normal. It turned out that everything just now was Jack's hallucination. Jenny planned to drive away but found there were no keys in the car. She had to return to the room again. Soon, a message came from headquarters saying they found a surviving researcher. They said there were evil creatures at the base, and the base's records showed there were no women there at all. Jack was very shocked. Could it be a ghost? Jack found Jenny and asked what was going on. Jenny showed him early footage of the base, explaining that she was there from the beginning. As for why, the records didn't say. The base originally didn't plan to have women. Jenny used a man's records to get in. As for the others at the base, because sounds similar to human suffering came from below the drilling, it wasn't long before everyone else went insane. They always felt like there were many things around them, and they believed it was all real. Jack chose to believe Jenny. The two sat on the platform, watching the sunset, chatting like a couple. In the evening, Jack was looking for wine on the bookshelf. A key fell out from inside the book. It was placed in a hollowed-out section of the book. Then, look at the safe on the side. This reminded Jack of the recording, so he put on the headphones again to listen. This time, it sounded more like a human scream. He hurriedly took off the headphones and a gust of wind blew in, making him rush out to check. At this moment, Jenny returned, dressed provocatively. Zhenjin used bread to celebrate Jack's birthday. Jack finally let his guard down and felt that he had misunderstood him before. Then he told him about his family. 6 years ago, he had a beautiful wife and a pair of twins. But he was always busy with work and neglected his wife. In the end, his wife committed suicide and took their twins with her. Whenever Zhenjin tried to get closer to him, Jack always saw his wife by his side. In the middle of the night, Jack woke up from a dream, and hallucinations started appearing from time to time. always feeling like his wife was coming to take his life. In his daze, the person sometimes appeared as his wife, sometimes as Jenny. He couldn't tell which was a dream and which was reality. After getting up, he checked the videotape again and found that in the video Jenny showed him, there was a hat. And that hat was his own. This indicated that the video was edited by Jenny later. Realizing something was wrong, Jack immediately called headquarters, then grabbed a gun and was about to drive away when he found the car wouldn't start. It turned out a part was missing from the engine. While he was searching, a crow flew overhead, continuously making a sound like, "Dad, save me." Jack followed the sound to the edge of a pit, where a group of crows was pecking at a decaying corpse. Suddenly, a large number of crows flew up, and Jack accidentally slipped into the pit. He quickly climbed out and went to the bathroom to wash off. At this moment, Jenny walked over naked. Jack was in a panic trying to wash off, and then a figure appeared behind him, undressing while walking over, pulling back the shower curtain. It was Jenny. Jack pushed Jenny away, and the Jenny on the ground looked like a monster. Jack pulled down a metal pipe and started fighting. Hearing Jenny's cries, he stopped. Jenny was already bleeding, lying on the ground, trembling in pain. Jack hurried to get medicine for her. When he returned with the medicine, Jenny was already gone. Jack was searching all over the room. At this moment, Jenny suddenly jumped out with a metal pipe, swinging it at Jack. Jack was so scared that he hurriedly hid in the room. The big iron door was about to be broken down. Jack took out a key and opened the safe, which contained a camera and a gun. The camera contained footage from previous researchers, saying there was something unspeakable underground. It would constantly change identities, and no matter what it said, he shouldn't believe it. Zhenji kept pleading outside, hoping Jack would open the door soon, but Jack didn't dare. At this moment, a message came from headquarters saying they were coming to pick them up. Jack no longer trusted Zhenji. While washing up in the bathroom, he saw a terrifying face. He pointed the gun for a long time before realizing it was just his own reflection. Then Jack heard the voices of his child and wife. Following the sound, he went into the room and saw Jenny cooking. Jack asked her who she really was. Jenny didn't answer. Jack picked up 2 spoons and made a cross, as if preparing to exorcise demons, which made Jenny laugh. Jack picked up a gun from the table, but it turned into a lighter. He felt more and more confused. What on earth was going on? Was this Jenny a human or a ghost? Just as Jack was about to leave, his wife and child appeared behind him. Jack went to blow out the birthday candles, but no matter how hard he blew, the candles wouldn't budge. It seemed this was his illusion. The real Jenny outside knocked on the window, urging him to leave quickly. Jack, in a daze, went to the car, and the person in the car turned into his wife. As they were talking, his wife turned back into Jenny. This Jenny must be a devil's trick. Jack grabbed a screwdriver and stabbed it, quickly pushing him out of the car. Then Jack carried gasoline around the room, spreading it everywhere. Jenny picked up a knife for self-defense, and Jack lit the gasoline. At this moment, the rescue team arrived. After rescuing the injured Jack, they asked him where Jenny was. Jack said she wasn't a real person. But the rescue team still found the injured Jenny. Both were carried onto the helicopter. Then, the base exploded violently. Jack went to the hospital to visit Jenny. Lying on the bed was a beautiful Jenny, but in the mirror was an old woman. Jack burst into the room, gun in hand, ready to deal with Jenny, while hurriedly trying to stop. In the end, she still pulled the trigger. In an instant, the walls were everywhere. Dissatisfied, with bloodstains, Jack walked out of the room, and in the hallway, everywhere were his wife and Jenny. Finally, Jack pointed the gun at himself. Fortunately, Jenny in the room wasn't hit. Jack's shot hit the blood bag beside him. Jenny kept talking. The movie, 9 Miles Down, ends here. This film seems a bit mysterious. Some explain that Jenny is a psychologist who created an isolated space to treat Jack's mental illness, trying to unlock his inner knots and help him find spiritual redemption. However, in the end, it failed. In addition to narrowly escaping death, he also discovered the true secret behind Jack's wife's family tragedy. Alright, if you want to see more great movie explanations, please follow me. Bye bye.